Yeah.
Welcome to The Last Retort with Global Voice Broadcasting Studios. This is your host, Chris Wiggins. Today we have a great guest. We're going to be talking with Danielle Sabrina a little bit after this ad from our sponsor. So, you've been injured. Something's happened. Maybe your landlord's trying to kick you out. Maybe your boss has been freaking out on you. We know what's going on, right? You work 40 hours a week. Someone's tripping on you, okay? You pay your rent on time, but your landlord's being greedy. There's one person you can call to make sure that you get the settlement and the verdict that you're looking for. You need to check out John Noddy. He has years of getting over millions of dollars in settlements for his clients. That could be settlements or litigation, though. We're not even just going to rely on settlements. So when there's a guy you need to call, I want you to talk to my main man, John Noddy. You check him out at naudilawgroup.com. That's naudilawgroup.com. Everybody, we're back at The Last Retort, and we have a great guest. I've been trying to get her on for a long time. She is finally here. She's a founder of Tribe Builder Media, also a member of the Forbes Agency Council. Please welcome Danielle Sabrina. How you doing?
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for being here.
I'm excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you. You are influential, and you're an inspiration to so many, including myself. So,
Thank you.
We are excited to talk a lot of
really
things.
Nice.
Yes. So, want to get in. So, we mentioned that you're on the Forbes Agency Council. You're named to that, highly exclusive. Tell people what that is, though.
It's essentially a collective of other agency founders and C-level executives that have hit certain numbers, like with revenue within their business, and they've been in business for, I'm not exactly sure what the criteria is, I can't remember, but it's really great. I love being part of it because I love, helping others in my space, and they help me as well. It's nice because when you have an agency and you're the owner, it can be kind of lonely sometimes, you know?
Oh, right on. Now, do you get it's like some companies they give you a special plaque? Because it seems like Mensa almost or something like that. Do you get any special hardware or jewelry for this or anything or what?
I did get a plaque, yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. You didn't bring the plaque with us? I mean, it's probably at your house, but you don't want us in the studio. We're gonna show it off. That's the coolest thing ever. It sounds like Black Ops, CIA and stuff like that. So really impressive.
Thank you.
I'm also impressed by the fact that, so you start out on Wall Street, before you're even the age of 20, right? And you pass the Series 7. Okay, number one, congrats on that. That's huge.
Thank you.
Yeah. But what in your adolescence caused you, number one, to have that ability and to want to do that too? I know you get that question a lot.
Yeah. And I'm actually very transparent with it because I think a lot of people really want to try to paint this picture of themselves or, where they came from.
Yeah.
And that really came out of necessity. I dropped out of high school. I had both my daughters by the time I was 19. So it came to a point where I found myself in a worse situation than I had been in prior to having my kids. And I was like, okay, this is not the life I want to give my kids. And I was looking for jobs and I was trying to talk to people. And I had an interview, and I don't even remember where the interview was, but the hiring manager, it was for a secretary job, and I really wanted it because I was like, okay, it's much higher pay than the Gap.
Yeah.
Which is where I was working.
Okay, all right.
That's where we're at. Yeah.
I think I worked at a Kohl's or a Dick's Sporting Goods, so.
Yeah. And I was just asking a lot of questions about what opportunities I would have if I did a really good job, whatever. And he said to me, he goes, well, because it doesn't really matter because you're not going to be able to be anything really more than a secretary or admin at the most. And I was like, oh, well, why? And he was like, well, he's like, one, you didn't even go to college and you dropped out of high school. And I was like, oh, okay. And I just left feeling so bummed out. And I did get offered the job.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
I was like, this is okay.
By that same guy, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. But I was really bummed out because I was just like, how I think that in turn, I can be a little bit of the defiance in me. Because I was just like, who are you to determine? I was just like, this is so unfair. This person is going to predict my future. This one person who's completely just not even relevant in my life.
Exactly.
In telling me. And So I went through like waves of feeling like, yeah, okay, he's obviously right. Like, what can I do? And I was from a small town in New Hampshire. So like, really, what can you do? And I kept looking in the newspaper because there wasn't, I don't even think I had like AOL then yet.
Not even like the little free 60 hours.
Yeah, I was just trying to think of like, when do I remember AOL taking like 5 hours to log in?
Yes.
And I was looking through the newspaper, and Fidelity had these big ads, and they were for jobs that I like had no idea what they even really meant. But they always had a big ad, so it just made me think like, okay, there's got to be something in this company that I could do, because they're obviously a big enough company that they can keep having these giant ads. And so I started calling. It was like a secretary that I was able to get like a direct number for, and it was I don't even know, if it was a secretary for a specific person, if it was just for the company. But I kept calling her, and I was like, because I couldn't get you can't get your resume through with big companies, and it's even worse now. Like it just doesn't even get through the system if you don't have certain, qualifications. So I kept calling her, and I was like, can you just see, like, maybe there's a job in the mailroom, or like, maybe I called all the time, and I'm sure it was so annoying. And finally, it was a couple of months, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to call. I'm going to leave her alone after this. I'm going to call. And I called, and she was like, oh, Danielle, I'm so happy to hear from you. I had your number written down, but I couldn't find it. But I just want to let you know, I found they're hiring in like another department, and basically you would call this number and you answered a bunch of questions. You either got an interview or not. And she said, so
she
I can't
put you
help
through to another phone call?
But she gave me an opportunity,
okay, all right,
so I got the interview.
Yeah,
so I answered the questions, and I got the interview. And in the interview, and I ended up getting the job. And then I passed my Series 7, which at the time was the third hardest exam in the United States. So
I love how that rolled right off the tongue. Just like, I got the job, then I passed Series 7. That's a hard test, right?
It happened that quickly.
Okay, wow.
Well, because you either passed or you didn't pass, you couldn't stay.
How long did the studying take, basically, for
I
that?
think they gave us like 12 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. So there was other people in my new hire class that didn't pass, and they all had degrees. And, it was just like, okay. It was just such a pivotal point, because if I could do that, and there was other people who graduated and they couldn't pass, and just from there, it all went up from there.
Yeah. Now, how old were your daughters at the sort of during the time where you were sort of studying and you got the new job or so?
My older daughter Morgan was just about 2, and my youngest daughter was 6 months.
Oh wow! Okay, so they're sort of during the developing where they require a lot of touch, and then you're studying for this test. Like I have to salute you on that. Like, how did you manage that?
I don't know. I still have no idea, because my youngest daughter was still getting up in the middle of the night, and then my shift at Fidelity started at like 5 a.m. So I had to be up at 3 a.m. because I used to give quotes to the overseas markets. So while I was studying before I was licensed. So I had to be there, and I have no idea. I don't know. I just made it happen.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy. It was horrible, actually. I remember that still.
Wow. I've got to salute you, because like there's times where I think I can do the show, do my day job, and then work out, and I go, that's too much, right? But to be able to do the child rearing at sort of these most important ages, and then go into something that I'll never understand in my life, finance, and like I'm not going to pass a Series 7 or even a Series 1. So I'm not. No, Gabe will tell you. There's no.
No, if I can, anyone can. Like that's what I mean. Like, let's be real.
Now, your daughters, with them they're college age now, right? So they're at school in New Hampshire.
Yep.
Okay. Is there pressure on them, given you're basically Superwoman mixed with Dexter's Lab and a lot of other things? Is there any pressure on? No, I'm real talk. Is there any pressure on them, sort of, hey? And I imagine maybe you don't necessarily put the pressure, but do you think that they feel the pressure that, hey, Mom is she's an icon within this space and revered for being able to have done this at 19?
Well, I don't know. I don't feel that way about myself, but I hope not. I do wonder about that sometimes. I do catch my older daughter, especially. She's really driven as well, and I try to remind her that, I really worked this hard and did this so that you can have an opportunity to explore life. more and do something that really makes you feel purposeful and, fulfilled.
Yeah.
But she takes out all, she's just like I am.
Yeah.
So I do see that, and I hope she doesn't. I hope neither one of my kids do, because it's really why I work so hard, is so that they could have the opportunity to really explore life and create something that's true to them.
Do you think that, now are they majoring in finance or anything related, or do they have plans to go into this space at all?
Interestingly, my younger daughter and I were having a conversation today, because she's taking I don't know exactly what class it is, but she's starting to learn about all of that stuff. And she was asking a lot, like, oh, what does a financial planner do? What does a wealth manager do? What's a hedge fund manager do? And, and she's asking, and she's starting to look into stocks. So I handed her over my E-Trade account, because I have an E-Trade account that I kind of forgot about. So it's not the account that I really trade in very frequently.
When you got it like that, I have an E-Trade account. I don't pay attention.
I just
this old thing.
Yeah, so I gave it, I said, listen, this is yours. Why don't you see what you can do with it? And gave her some resources. So she might actually, so that surprised me. I don't know. You just never know what what they'll do. I just want my kids to explore as many things as possible.
Yes.
So I am a big fan of don't choose now, choose a bunch of different things, see what you like, just keep trying different things, and quit jobs when you want to quit them.
Yeah.
Some people are going to be like, what is her problem? It's the worst advice ever.
No. It's advice for the day and age that we're in, that previous generation should have adhered to, right? So that's good advice. It's, like that day of, hey, I've been for 10 or 15 years, and they tell you, you're old, get out the door, and here's your pension and everything. And then you spend so much time not experiencing things, and you only work with the people that were directly at your company, right? That's not fun. That's not fun.
That's anyway. Yeah, it's no way to live life.
Yeah. Now, in terms of trading, though, so you can give me that E-Trade account if you want. No, I'm just kidding. But if you're gonna do it, not kidding. But no, okay. But how long was the learning curve in terms of mastering trading?
So I was really good at it, not to pat, but I did not.
No, you can pat yourself on the. I mean,
I just didn't
let's be honest. The results are results, right?
I think I like to be good at whatever it is that I'm doing.
Yes.
So whatever it is, I want to be the best at it. I want to figure it out faster, quicker, better than anyone else.
Yeah.
And that's really all it was. I only retained enough information to do exactly what I needed to do and exactly what I needed to execute. So when it came to pretty much, unless it had to do with executing trades, I just didn't really know or care.
Okay.
At all. So if it wasn't in that little, that's it, I didn't care.
Yeah. Okay.
It was so uninteresting to me.
Oh, wow.
And continues to be.
I'm just so good. It's not right?
No, it's just this is not, I didn't care. I could care less what the Dow did ever.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. All right. Now, in terms of, so I'm gonna be projecting on our audience and everything when I ask this question. All right, tell us what an equity trader does. Really, I'm just saying, tell me what that is, right? But how would you explain it, high level?
Well, it just depends, because it depends on exactly what that role is.
Okay.
So it could be an equity trader in that they're just executing trades for clients.
Mm-hmm.
Could be an equity trader and they're trading in an institutional account.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple different, they could just be trading mutual funds too. They're just a trader.
Okay. All right. Okay. Right on. Yeah. Good. All right. So we got all right. So she hooked us up with the Schoolhouse Rock. So you kids and myself look at there. I wish there's a mirror right there.
The only reason why the trades are an options trader or fixed income is sometimes there's additional licenses required. So that's usually why you might see it broken down like that. There's I think it's the Series 6, and you can trade up to mutual funds, but you couldn't trade equities.
Yeah.
So you can't trade stocks if you only had a Series 6. And you need a Series 8, I think, still. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure, to trade options.
Yeah.
So there's the tiers out.
Now, I know that you answer this question a lot, right? I really got to get back to the Wall Street at 19.
Oh my God.
Right? Legit. Because, you're basically like LeBron James.
Yes. You're hyping me up. This is
okay,
so
well, you are like Tiger Woods at the Masters. Going into that, it's I guess Wall Street, a lot of people would say that it could be an old boys club, yet you come in as this prodigy. How do you deal with? I'm assuming that there's just like a lot of hate in it, and she's young, she's 19, and blah blah blah. How did you combat that?
I used to lie about my age.
Oh, okay.
So the only people who knew really like how old I was the people who handled the licensing paperwork.
Okay.
I think everyone else just assumed I was older. So
because you still look around the 19-ish age right now, so like I'm concerned about the judgment of some of the people on Wall Street that they couldn't pinpoint that.
I definitely looked young, I think. Okay. But I think I really went out of my way to dress older. Like I wore suits. I like Ann Taylor all the way.
Ooh, okay.
Like was like immediately I was like, okay, how can I look a little older? And if we all went out for drinks after work or something, I would like hurry up and fly to the bar and order some like weird drink, so they would think that I was, I'd be like, I don't even know what I used to order, but it would definitely be something that hopefully I wouldn't, it'd be like, I'll have a Cabernet. Yeah. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, and try to get like, so I wouldn't get carded in front of my colleagues.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. So you're from New Hampshire. Now, number one, this is another milestone because you're the first New Hampshireite. What do we call a native New Hampshire? Is it a New Hampshirean or New Hampshireite or a Newie or anything?
I don't know.
Okay. You're the first one, so I'm honored here.
Oh, thanks.
Yes, I am honored. What was that experience like going from there to, like, obviously New Hampshire's in the north. It's in New England and all. But people don't necessarily think of it as like the Providence sort of
it's
Boston,
not.
Right? Yeah. What's it like going like that to New York at such a young, such a young age?
That's what I needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
I had to get out of New Hampshire. It's a small town. It's a small state, so the towns are small.
What city were you in?
Manchester.
Were you from? Manchester. Okay. Isn't that like
Hook region originally, which is like not even barely on the map, but then, at least Manchester has an airport.
Okay.
But I had to leave.
Yeah.
Like in the second I did, I was like, okay, this makes sense. Like life makes a little more sense to me because I felt so closed in and just so restricted. And the mindset at the time in the area was just so old and conservative, and no one left. Like people were born, raised, and stayed in Manchester, stayed in New Hampshire.
Sounds like my hometown.
Okay, where are you from?
Oceanside, California.
Okay. Well,
yeah, so it's
you're still from California.
Yeah, I'm from the conservative part of California, though. Like a military town, and it's not like So, and not to lament anybody there. A lot of the people I knew in high school, they've lived in that city from like 8 onwards. So yeah, so I'm right there with you. Continue. Sorry, I interjected.
No. I had to leave. So I felt like I was able to get the opportunities that would continue to help me grow.
Oh, right on. Now then you founded your company after you left Wall Street. You founded your company. Now it started out as What Vibes Your Tribe, and then we've gone to it's called Tribe Builder Media now.
Right.
Right. Okay. What's the fascination with tribe as a term?
Well, the idea of building tribes around what your brand is really like the key to success. So if you can build, and now there's all this talk about tribes and followers and, all of that. But that was really how, when I was growing, because at one point when I was still in corporate, I was growing broker dealers and growing broker offices and really driving their revenue. And it all started with kind of creating that tribe around whoever that person was, like creating that sphere of influence. And that's when I went off and did my media company and was helping all businesses of all sizes do that. Then that just kind of made sense. And I love the name. Like, I love Vibe with Your Tribe. I love that.
Yeah, I love that too.
But we rebranded to Tribe Builder just because people were like, it's kind of a long name, and people were like, Tribe Vibes, or just like, like I was like, let's just scrap that.
Yeah. Now the email addresses are still the WVYT, right? Though.
Yeah. Well, I just use, because I'm like forever to be the last one. I'll still use like my Gmail account from.
Okay. Yeah, when I messaged you, I was like, maybe she works at a new. Like I didn't put 2 and 2 together. That I was like, this was the name of. I was like, maybe it's a news station or something like that.
Yeah, it's this habit. I'm like.
So all right. So what do you think stands out sort of about? About your agency that you've created that allowed you guys to have the type of success that you guys have had?
Well, in PR especially is one of the hardest things to quantify when it comes to ROI. So it's kind of like and PR is a bit bad rap for companies, but it can do so much good. So we made the decision to invest in every type of software, analytical, AI platform that we could get our hands on that pulled and aggregated every piece of data that we could possibly analyze for a brand online. And we started, and we have it so we can see like a journalist impact, like how much that journalist would impact your brand if they wrote about it. So we knew we would know exactly. So as a team, like we took a more strategic approach, and instead of just sending out a press release and hoping it gets picked up or use our contacts existing, we really like honed in, narrowed in, and we can provide the writers, journalists, editors with facts backing up what we're saying too, and we can say, hey, listen, this is actually being talked about right now. Like this many people are talking about this online, not just you see everyone talking about it, but we can like quantify it in true numbers. So I think that PR agencies in general have really stuck in just that old school mentality of, you send out a press release and it gets picked up. Well, with content now, journalists are not looking for a story. They have like 50 million stories they're trying to get through, and editors are so backed up. So to get your story out there, to get your thought leadership featured, you really need to take a more strategic approach.
Oh, right on. Now, with these two worlds that you've excelled in being quite different, what connected you to PR and wanted to make the switch?
Well, they are kind of connected because it's all about, at the end of the day, driving revenue. So whether you're, and we do more than PR. We're also digital marketers. It's a marketing agency, but we have a big focus on PR. It's driving revenue. So I love entrepreneurship. So if I can help as many business owners as I can, or C-levels, and grow and push their businesses forward, it's a really cool feeling because it's kind of, you're a part of it in a way. And you can see them go. Like we have clients that we started with that had a small team of like 5 people, and now they're employing over 5,000. Like that's huge growth.
Yes. Yeah.
And then also to help like, small to medium-sized business owners like dentists or attorneys, and they have their own private practices, and like be able to grow and sustain those practices. Because to me, it's so sad to not be able to stay in business because you don't know how to put your business out there. So there's so many people who are awesome at what they do, but they just are not. They're struggling to stay in business because they just can't get themselves out there. Because who has time to figure out all the different things right now that you need to do for your business to market it, between social media and everything else?
They need to join a tribe.
Yeah.
Straight up. Yeah.
They need to find their own tribe.
All right. Yeah, exactly. So now, in addition to that, you're lauded once again. You got this moniker, the Crypto Queen. How did that come about?
So when blockchain really started to become, more mainstream, we were segmenting over already with the agency, helping some of the original emerging companies kind of find their space. And it was an easy transition for me because I also kind of came from fintech, because I came from finance. So I was, I remember back when payments started to, were being big. Like I remember when people were like, no one's ever going to be sending money via email. And I remember being part of that conversation, being like, but why not? Like if you could send money to someone via email, and it was really hard for people to conceptualize that, but that became PayPal. And PayPal now like really impacted digital payments and the space in general. So remembering that, and then seeing what the impact that blockchain can have on different, in all different kinds of industries, then I think it's just kind of like the nickname just kind of came. Like it was just, I think that it was, people were trying to be more promotional with it. And then I just kind of took it and ran with it.
As you should.
I want to have a bunch of crypto queens. Like we're all crypto queens, like all females that are involved in crypto. Like it's everyone. It's not just me.
Yeah. Right on. Now, how do you deal with fear as it relates to the cryptocurrencies, and sort of given that it's not, I guess you can say that it is, some can say it's developed, they're so right, but in terms of like other types of finances, right? How do you deal with sort of fear as it relates to cryptocurrency when you got in and currently now?
I mean, it's not easy looking at my Ether portfolio or my Bitcoin portfolio or all the other altcoins I've invested in, but I also have made a ton of money in it. So I don't have any fear around it. I'm prepared to lose it, and I'm prepared to see where the market's going to go with it. I mean, I think you have to be smart about anything like that. You can't, like, I know it could all vanish tomorrow, or that's how I prepare myself.
Yeah.
So I knew that going into it. When I started accepting Ether, that was the first cryptocurrency I started accepting. So, you know, we had huge payments coming in Ether for our business because we switched over. So we went from, you know, 100% USD to then taking a good chunk in Ether.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, you just have to be prepared. Like, go with it. Just see what happens.
Yeah. What would you say to sort of some of the regulators? And I know there's like a legislator out here in California that sort of had a crusade against Bitcoin. What would you say to everyone that's listening in terms of some of the benefits of this sort of this money wave of the future, if you will?
I think everyone just needs to take the time to truly understand it and not take a stance on it until they understand it. And then also know that it's still evolving. So to have any real strong opinion on it either way, I'm obviously a crusader for it, but it really has more to do with the underlying technology, which is Blockcoin, and the impact that it can have and the control that it can give us versus the transparency is so key for me. Like, most people have no idea that, like, they could have a 401k account with their employer and think that they're in all these different conservative investments or mutual funds or whatever, and they're and the fees are so buried. They're so buried. They're not the fees that you just look at the prospectus real quick and you see it. They're so buried in there that when you really uncover it, like, you're so much of the money that you're investing, which isn't usually a lot if you're an average, you know, if you're a middle class worker. It's not like, it's a lot for that person, but it's not like it just adds up so much. And cryptocurrency, blockchain can be the intersection where it will show that transparency. Like, there's no middleman that's trying to, like, do some sneak stuff. That, I mean, right there should give us enough, like, that's reason enough to be excited about where this can go, or at least try to hold space for it to know that it could have that impact.
Right on. Definitely. All right. Look, there you go. There's an advocacy. Any of the legislators that are listening, bam, you heard it from the Crypto Queen. Do not disobey her on that, okay? Heed her advice. Find out some more information. Right? It's yeah. Now, in terms of, so you've got that. You're on the council, and you used to also write for HuffPost. You're a contributor for HuffPost, if I'm not mistaken, right? You were, or
I was.
Okay,
yeah.
you were. Yeah, you were a contributor for HuffPost. And then, so how do you manage all of this, keep up with the writing, and being able to run this great company as well?
You know, so I knew you were going to ask me that, and I was thinking of, well, no, because recently I've been really trying to hack that. So in order for me to have grown the agency to where I've grown it, and also be able to work on my own thought leadership and share myself as a resource, it really came down to discipline. So I hate writing. Like, I don't like it. I'm just so distracted. I want to be executing. Like, I thrive on execution. So I'm always wanting to finish it. And so I just, like, promised myself that 15 minutes every day, it's the first thing I do after I get my coffee, is I force myself to not have any other windows open but this one Google Doc. Okay. And I don't tell myself what I'm going to write. I don't I'm just like, I'm going to sit there, and I promise myself, and I just say, write whatever comes to mind, and something always comes to mind, and I always end up writing for like 45 minutes, 2 hours. But when I was trying to, because I think a lot of people struggle with this. I think a lot of people have, like, there's a book in everyone. There's an article to share, or, like, you know, and it's getting it out of you. And when I kept trying to structure that and be like, okay, well, this is what I'm writing about. And then, you know, I'd go off and have these other ideas, and then I would kind of have a blank slate when I was trying to follow my, you know, what I was trying to do with the writing. And when I just let that go, I just created a lot of content. so I have a lot of content. So I download it all. I give it to I have a really fantastic writer on my team. I give it to her to edit. And she goes through, kind of restructures it, asks some other questions that I might be leaving out because I'm forgetting that, not everyone has the same like knowledge or expertise in one area. So together with that process, it works, and you just have to be structured with it. So every day, Monday through Friday.
Yeah. And how long do you think it goes from that process takes from ideation to we've got it complete and it's going on the site or it's going in art, being physically published and all?
It better not take very long.
Okay.
Because I'll take forever because I'm also a perfectionist. So I have to get it done and out. Yeah. And it has to be done. And that time that's blocked off for it, whatever gets done in that time gets done.
Okay.
And same thing. Like we have everything structured out. So if I get an article back, I have to like give it back the second I touch it. So if I touch it, I finish it.
Yeah.
I finish putting in my last thoughts about it, polish it, and it just goes.
Okay. Is there an article that you wrote that you're most proud of?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I did share my journey video, and I forgot that it was on YouTube until like fairly recently. And I'm still.
How long ago did you do it?
A couple years ago.
Okay.
I forgot that it was on there. I'm actually still trying to find my login because I was like, oh, I need to take down some of these. Are really old. But somebody had found it, and it was a really big person who found it, and from that came another opportunity. And that, I think, I'm proud of it, but I like that it can impact other people because I like to be transparent in how you get places so it can help other people, because I can't stand when someone is like, they get where you want, like maybe like I'm like, oh, I really want to be where that person's at, and you ask them and they're like, it's just so much fluff. Like they just don't want to share what the real struggles or journey was. So somebody who maybe was, maybe a single mom or just someone who, another teen mom or something, and like they could see someone like me and say, okay, well, my life isn't as limited as I might perceive it to be or have told it would be.
Yeah, right on. Now, you've had a bit of a harrowing year, if you will. I know that grandfather passed a little bit earlier this year, and then father passed.
And my uncle. So, like, I have my dad's side of the family just got wiped out. Like, I don't know what happened. It was very unexpected. So my grandfather, he was older, so that was sort of expected. He just, like, fell and banged his head, and then he had internal bleeding.
Wow.
But he was definitely
super sorry about that.
Thank you. He was definitely older, so it wasn't a complete surprise. My uncle, who's my father's brother, got cancer, a surprise, but quickly passed. And then that was a very stressful time for my dad, and he ended up having a stroke that he wasn't able to survive. So that was really tough. It was the first time I've lost anybody in my family that was, besides my grandmother, who I was younger, and but it was tough. I took about 6 months off, so
rightfully so.
Yeah, I had my team step in, and I completely stepped out. So I'm very thankful that I had this systems and structure in place that I worked towards. And I completely just took the time off.
Okay, just a log off. Was this like vacation or spend time back in New Hampshire that occurred? Or?
Yeah, once my father had a stroke, he was still in intensive care for like almost 4 weeks. So I was there with him like 24 hours a day. I really didn't leave. So that, and then, just healing and everything. I'm a big fan of not liking to bottle anything up. So I've done a lot of work on myself, like personally, to get where I am. So I feel like I'm as successful as I am today, not necessarily because I've made always the right business choices, but I think it's because I've really taken the time to heal things that come up in my life or that I've had in my life in the past.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to take time to heal and, come back to things whole.
Yeah. Well, my condolences to yourself and all your family on what's been a tumultuous year in that regard. And kudos to you on sort of bouncing back after what I got imagine it was a horrifying time. And to bounce back from that, and you killed it at the Timmy Awards, I've heard, right?
Oh,
How was
thanks.
that?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I love supporting all the startups, and then some of the company. It was really cool seeing some of the companies there that I had recognized from when they were a very small team. And Tech in Motion is such a great organization. Just in itself. So anytime I can do something to support them, I'm like 100% there.
Yeah. How many people like ran up to you with like questions and bombarding you while you were there?
Well, they had us off to the side, so not really.
Right,
and then I had to leave immediately after because I had to pick up a client from the airport. So I actually just like flew in last night, right to the award ceremony.
Okay.
Then went back to my client from the airport. And then
How many Timmy Awards have you done now?
This is my first one.
Oh, okay. Right on. Okay. All right. It's like I heard feedback from a bunch of people. They're like, there's this lady, she's the crypto queen. She was there, right? And a bunch of people had told me I was supposed to go. I was actually supposed to go, but
nice.
it was had some other things, and we had the neck injury, so I was trying not to.
You had a neck injury?
Neck injury a few days ago, right? I was working out very poor job of it. Very poor job of it. So I had an event all day where I was standing up, and that was not fun. And I was looking forward to go to the Timmy Awards, but I was like, look, I've been doing this for 6 hours around college students, shaking hands and talking, and it's hot, right? So it would have been great. It's slightly better. I don't have to be around the college students anymore, so I'm doing so much better, right? Like, I didn't even care about the neck injury afterwards. I was just like, I don't want to be around. I feel like there might be college kids at the Timmy Awards. So.
Yeah, there definitely was.
So just talking with you, I get a real huge Christopher Gardner from the Pursuit of Happiness feel. Have you gotten that before?
Yeah. When I first watched that movie, I just cried the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it wasn't as drastic of a journey. Like, I wasn't homeless, but it was very similar, and it's what he went through. Definitely, I remember so many things, like just not even having money to go out with my colleagues.
Yeah.
And having to figure that out. I remember not even really having like gas money to get to work. I remember not sleeping for days because my daughter had an ear infection and she was up all night crying, and she's still an infant. So that's just normal to be up. And then trying to study and manage that and balance that, and how difficult that was. And then also like trying to not show that there is any type of stress happening, and show like it's good, it's fine. So there's a lot of that. I watch that movie all the time, at least a couple times a year. Every year.
Do you cry still when you watch it?
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah, for sure.
So if they were to do this one about you, because it's going to have to happen, obviously, who would you want to play you?
Oh, I don't know.
You never thought about this, really?
No.
All right, because like they're legit. Like, I don't want to cast aspersions or so, right? But like this would be like the woman version of like same situation, right? But it'd be with a woman, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So this story has to happen, and yours is just really so unique, right? With everything that went into it, right? So you don't have no one that you think, hey, I'd love for them to play me.
I'm trying to think of
it'd be hard for them to match your elegance, right? Obviously, I understand that, but yeah.
You're so charming.
Oh, thank you.
I'm sure this will be reversed soon. You'll be sitting here telling your story. I don't know.
Okay, all right. Well,
I don't know.
We're gonna come back to that. Like next time you're on here, all right? I want you thinking about that.
I'll be thinking about it now. Like, who do you think would be a good?
Like, see, to play? I would think that. I mean, yeah. Look, you want to go with J-Law, right? Like, because we can't have like I feel like if they get like someone that's like, when like they had like Ashton Kutcher play Steve Jobs, it's sort of like it's sort of an insult to Steve. Like, and nothing wrong with Ashton Kutcher, but you want like a powerhouse playing the person, right? Right. You don't want an unknown or someone that's like has acting chops. You don't want the risk to put like.
She is a good actress. She is a very good actress.
Yes, yeah. So I would, yeah.
I mean, that would be like an honor. I couldn't even imagine, but yeah. That would be incredible.
It can happen.
Well, in LA, it probably could.
Yeah, Shailene Woodley, maybe. Right, from what is she? She keeps getting arrested, I think, with her protesting and all. But yeah, but she's a strong actress, right? Yeah, I get Jennifer Lawrence. Right, if I'm producing the movie, which I hope I can. All right, we are getting her for it.
Perfect.
All right? Straight up. All right, so that is all the time that we do have for today. However, thank you for being here. We want to make sure that everyone knows where to follow you. And please, people, don't be sending her tweets trying to ask for financial advice unless she approves it. But tell them where they can reach you on social media. Yeah, ask for marketing advice. But okay, all right. Yeah. Where can they find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram, Danielle Sabrina 7, I think is my...
Yes, it is, yes.
I'm not really on Twitter too much. But I'm on Instagram and LinkedIn. Those are my two platforms, LinkedIn and Instagram.
All right, perfect. And you guys can also apply. You can apply at our company too.
Yep.
All right. She's like, all right, let's edit this out. No.
I mean,
you guys can apply if you're qualified. If you're qualified, don't call her 3,000 times though. Right? Danielle, thanks so much for being here. Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
We're gonna have you on again.
Oh, thank you.
All right, awesome. Everybody, for the last retort, this is Chris Wiggins, guest Danielle Sabrina. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.